And while we'll know for sure on Thursday only, the equity market is already celebrating. The euphoria was similar when BJP-led NDA came to power in 2014 with a higher than anticipated lead over the opposition. But have the returns been that phenomenal over the last 5 years? Perhaps not. Yash puts that into perspective. Yash, the numbers.
Morning, Neeraj. So the last 5 years have in fact been phenomenal for the markets. However, if you compare it with the 5-year period of the previous governments, well, in that hindsight, they haven't been all that great, because if you take a look at the 5-year returns over the last 5 years for the Modi government, the Nifty has run up by almost 58% compared to a 78% jump in the Nifty mid-cap index and a 44% increase for the Nifty small-cap index. Compare that over the last 5-year period for the other governments, and you'll see that those numbers may come slightly short of what we have seen previously. But moving forward, let's take a look at which were the top wealth creators in the last 5-year period. And like I mentioned, 58% returns, or in fact more than that, by the Nifty, with 45 of those 50 stocks giving positive returns, with only 5 stocks being in the negative in that 5-year period. Bajaj Twins topped that list, with Bajaj Finance gaining over 1700% in that period, which is in fact more than the gains that we've seen in the last 5 period for any of the mid-cap as well as the small-cap stocks that we talk about later on in the show. Bajaj Finserv not too far behind, with an 873% jump up in its returns. Titan, being the play on the consumption side, has seen a big move on the upside, 288%. UPL, it came under troubled waters sometime last year in the month of July ahead of the acquisition of Erisa. There were concerns with regards to the high debt that would come in, but since then it has seen a phenomenal run, and it has been hitting fresh lifetime high in every new trading session. Eicher Motors stands out from the auto pack, 230% higher on the back of strong demand that we saw for the auto companies over the last 5-year period, barring the last 10 months that we have seen some amount of slowdown coming in for the auto names. But moving forward, well, we'll take a look at which are the top 5 wealth destroyers, and the counterpart to Eicher Motors is Tata Motors, which is down 60%. The troubles with respect to auto sales slowdown in China and the other European markets, that has weighed down on the counter. ONGC too came under pressure following its bid to acquire the majority stake of government in HPCL. That one's down about 35%. Sun Pharma, with respect to its corporate governance issues with respect to Aditya Medisales, that took a knock of about 33%. And Coal India and Vedanta, they round up the list of the top 5 stocks which have been the largest underperformers in that period.
Okay, and what about the broader markets, Yash?
So even in the broader markets, Neeraj, it has been a great 5-year period. So we'll start first with the mid-cap index, and that has run up almost 78%, with 75 of the Nifty mid-cap 100 stocks giving positive returns in this period. Which are the top wealth creators in that period? Indiabull Ventures is up 934%. Its foray in consumer finance business being the key turning point for the company. Bombay Burma, which is the holding company and has rich investments in Britannia and Bombay Dyeing Group, that one's up 628%. HEG was the largest wealth creator in the calendar year 2018, following the industry shift to less polluting and more efficient form of steel production using the help of electric arc furnaces, which pushed up graphite electrode prices, and HEG being one of the largest players globally. Sterlite Tech is up more than 566% in this period as well, and SRF from the specialty chemical space rounds up the list of the top 5 wealth creators. But moving on, let's again take a look at which were the top underperformers, and the troubles with respect to the burgeoning debt and the group's inability to service it took a knock on some of the Reliance Group stocks. So Reliance Infra as well as Reliance Capital, they are down anywhere between 92 to 71%, and the list is largely dominated by the other PSU banks, so Bank of India, Union Bank. Aditya Birla Capital has a mention over there, down 70% in the same period. Moving on to the Nifty small cap index, that has had a 44% run in this period, with 71% of those stocks giving a positive return again in this period. The largest wealth creators, they include the likes of Minda Industries, Aegis Logistics, Philips Carbon Black. Minda Industries, a large auto ancillary company which has a significant amount of revenues coming in from Maruti and the other large auto dealers. Aegis Logistics is a fully integrated LPG supply chain company. post 2014, the government's measures in order to boost LPG consumption, that has been a big positive for the company. Philips Carbon Black, again, it is into specialty chemical, makes a special chemical which is known as carbon black. It was under severe, limitation in the country. It was imported, and later on they expanded their capacity. The government had to come in and put an anti-dumping duty, and later on even hike the anti-dumping duty, which was a positive for the company. Avanti Feeds and Sonata Software from the mid-cap IT space, they make up the list of the other two names for the space. And lastly, the biggest wealth destroyers, this list is completely dominated by the PSU banks, UCO Bank, Syndicate Bank, Andhra Bank and Oriental Bank of Commerce, all down anywhere between 98 to 71%. Suzlon Energy too gets a mention over here, 70% down in the last 5-year period.